right, so we have an update. The players are now starting to sit down, getting ready for their final match. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing, exactly as you were saying earlier, right? How you have to change your play when you know you need, essentially, at least 100,000 points.
Yeah, and the
Maybe
exact
even
thing
more.
that Yeah, the exact thing that people were playing for is kind of different too, though, right?
Mm,
Because these players, some of them might be happy with taking second, saying that they're the Irish runner-up or what have you. But that's where the sanctions come in the Japan groups, because they do truly say things like, no, only winning matters. You have to play for the win here. So we'll see how these players choose to react to that and what they do want to play for.
yeah, I think it depends on the organisation. Sometimes they say going for an extra position is fine, but like it's kind of rude, right? If you don't even gain a position from a move in or last.
Oh yeah, so that is almost certainly a sanction. Like if you solidify your fourth place or something like that by winning a hand in all last, that is absolutely a no-go.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we are now getting our first deal for East One in the final game. And it
Yep,
looks
and we
like
can
our
see
first
the
dealer here is getting a pretty exciting start. I'm seeing a lot of bamboo tiles connected to each other.
absolutely lots of simple tiles in general. So
True.
lots of different opportunities for the hand to kind of create some value here. Looks like the Dora is something of characters. I can't quite see. It might be 6 of characters is the Dora. Um,
It does look like a 5 or a 6, yep. I'll have to quickly see. We'll see it in the next turnaround.
mhm.
But
Yes,
yes,
so we did confirm 6 Dora here. Actually, Conor with a pretty quick starting hand here. So Conor being the runner-up behind Tramy right now, just by a narrow margin, but still something to keep an eye out for and person most likely to make the comeback here.
yeah, honestly, with the plus 15, if Tramy does get minus 15, that's 30 points of the gap already covered. Then we'll have to see about the score. But it's not impossible. Although, having said that,
And the admins here confirming that there is no sanction for these players if they take a bad win at the end of the game, but they will be publicly shamed for it. So that is something to keep an eye out for on their Twitter or whatnot if we do see that sort of thing happen.
I'm sure it won't happen with these players today. But yeah, it would be quite funny to see when.
All right, so Conor with a little bit of an awkward draw. This is always the draw that I hate. And honestly, sometimes I just throw it back right away because you want to integrate that 6 Dora, and the pair of 7 does not help with that at all. But in the meantime, Tramy drawing an Ipeko chance here.
Yeah,
So hand progressing very nicely.
if we do get the Ipeka, we lose our head, but I think that's still perfectly fine this early on. We're only 3 draws in, so could easily find a solution to that problem.
100%.
The South is not
As
a
long as you
solution to
don't
Connor's
lose your
problem,
head
though.
in the game overall, you'll be okay.
And that could be our head right there, the 8 of characters. So there we go, problem solved.
Yeah, it offers both that as well as Dora acceptance, and Martin actually drawing a chance for a run right here, the
The pure straight,
Itsu
yeah.
pure run. So Conor with some good draws as well. Everyone's hand is progressing very, very quickly here.
This
Oh,
will be our
beautiful
first
draw
tempo,
for
though,
Zhiyu.
from the dealer.
Do we take it though? And yeah, it looks like it
Yeah.
is going to be a Riichi. Yeah.
It's Reach Pin Fedora 1 as dealer. I think any winner's dealer is still fine, in my opinion.
Yep. And Tramy drawing an improvement loses the head again, but is looking at the different shapes available, deciding if they want to try pushing the 8 into this or not. But at the same time, they really don't have much that's safe. If they discard the 3 they're basically completely folding the hand already. So do opt to do a little bit more aggressive play, push this 8 here to see what direction is going to go.
I guess the only other real choice is maybe the 9, but then that confirms the 8 is the pair. You have 2 of the 8s, so maybe you could justify the fact that because it says you see 2 of the 8s in your own hand, it blocks 7-8 from the other players. But it is Dorasuji, so 6 and 9 weights are going to be more it's tough.
Yep, absolutely. No Ipatsuma from Zhiyu here. So still just going to be looking for improvements here at the end. Martin does find an improvement here, though, so is going to keep pushing at least a little bit here.
Yeah, Connor's more than happy to play the 9 after the 8 was played, and also just because Connor is all in on this, I think, for now, unless something really, really horrible shows up anyway.
Yeah, so how many tiles are in hand? I think there's only 1 left in the wall at this point. I think there's 1 5-pin left in the wall, if I'm counting correctly. So really rough position to be in, too, as far as the tiles available for this. Ooh, and that's an Ipeko draw here for
It's 10
Tramy.
pie if we're willing to cut 5 or 6. And the 5 is safe to the reach.
Yeah, and like there's no reason not to cut the 5 here. I think we cut the 5 and probably Dama.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes sense to reach it just yet.
I think that's perfectly fine, especially with the Pure sequence in the hand. We don't need to reach. We can still roll anyone. But we do. We go all in.
He's going to go ahead and take it. Wow.
All right.
Very aggressive play here, trying to shut everything down.
You know what? Tramy's been pretty invincible this game. So
True.
Maybe you're just invincible. You don't have to worry about anything. Just win every time.
Yeah, but at the same time, Martin trying to catch up here is one away from that Itsu shape as well. So this could be like Reach Itsu Pinfu. So it could be potentially a Mangan or maybe more with Ura.
But yeah, I do think it's one of these situations where no one is folding anymore. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, just no one has the luxury to, right? Like it's really, really tough. And, you know, if Tramy's pushing, everyone's pushing. Because that's the opportunity to hit her, to take her down, really get her into a deep, deep fourth, which is what they need to start this comeback here.
Yeah, exactly. Martin's giving up on the pure straight there, but I think the 1 pin is nice to keep as a pair. It's also the 9 is safe to the reach. Just being disciplined, I guess. Don't need the extra 2-hand value. As long as maybe you're the one who wins, we'll see.
Yeah, and we're not seeing really many 6-0s left. Or sorry, in the hand, that is. I think it's really just the 2, one in the Riichi hand and one in one other player's hand. And here we see 8-pin. That would have been the Itsu Tao from Martin, but it is breaking it down a little bit to try to play a little bit safer.
Yeah, I don't think you'd call the Itsu anyway. I mean, maybe you would, but because it's still 2-hand, right, Itsudora, but it seems like a huge risk for not a lot of benefit, sadly.
Yeah, and the biggest benefit there is shutting down the other player's hands, right?
That's
so if
true.
you are able to make that call, then it puts you in the lead, basically. So the Uma is something you don't want to, completely ignore. Now, Martin does have the opportunity to chase here, but it is a Riichi Dora hand. So not too much going on, but it is still a pretty good weight overall. It looks like a lot of the tiles are still live. I'd probably go ahead and take this here. Yeah, I think it's worth the risk.
I agree, especially given the overall score situation. I think it's perfectly okay to aim for that. Again, aiming for Tramy. But then maybe this is actually genuinely being a battle for second place here. Maybe that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of very disciplined play, not as much aggression as I would expect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't really blame him for that necessarily. Like, if you deal into, especially like Zhiyu here, you risk even losing the chance at a second in the tournament.
Exactly.
So by playing a little bit safer here, it gives you that opportunity, like you're saying, to place better overall than just shooting for first wood. That is actually one of the concerns, I'll say, that people have. Oh, wow. Sumo from Tramy. I'll get back to that thought in a second. So we see a Riichi Sumo Ipeko and nothing else. So just misses the Ura here by the look of it. Or wait, no, so sorry, that is an 8-mon Ura? Yes, okay, so 8-mon Ura. So it'll be Riichi Sumo, Dora Ipeko. Yeah, so that'll be a 2,300 win. Yep, and that is where the players arrive at as well, by the look of it. Yep, just figuring out the change situation, and yeah, they did get the rounding here. All right, so that's a pretty big win there. Get the 1,000-point reach stick from Zhiyu over to Tramy as well, and she just continues to run away with this tournament. Like, the 6-mon isn't necessarily a great weight by any means, but being able to sumo it there is an absolute huge swing. So sumo into Ura for the near Mangan hand. Yep, an absolutely disgusting win indeed. But Tramy is going to take the dealer here. If someone's going to sumo Yakuma, now's the time they want to do it. We have the 2-pin Dora coming up for this hand here. And we're about to see our first look at Tramy's hand. No Dora in it. Pair of Southwind. Yeah, just a little bit rough shapes overall. But at the same time, there are a lot of connected tiles, at least. So there's the chance for this to be quick, but you have to deal with things like 8-9 mon, 5-7 pin, and try to find a way to improve them or something.
I believe that's correct, right? Yeah. As we go.
100 points off. It was the near mon gun, 3900.
But it was a sumo?
Yeah. So
that's
3900 from dealer.
Oh, okay.
Plus the
my apologies. I completely I misread that.
Yeah, no worries.
I'll go fix that.
All right, so Tramy here, 2 pairs of wins now, is angling a little bit towards the Honitsu. We will see if that's the route that ends up going or not. Martin just trying to scrabble together anything he can by the look of it, but, you know, sometimes that's the hand that you're dealt here. Conor with 1 Dora, but going to be difficult to integrate everything. You almost want to draw like running 3 pins or something. Is actually considering dropping it right here, but does think better of it and discards the North Wind here. And Tramy, will she continue to go on for this Honitsu? I think the 7 pin discard is completely reasonable here. Yes, and that is what we see as well. One thing that you guys will see a lot more in games like this as opposed to online games is a hard force of a flush hand. Because it's so hard to get a bunch of Dora and build your hand value that way, as opposed to having red 5s in, one of the easiest ways to do it is that flush force. So it's a very common play in order to really try to build that hand value and get something going. And you get rewarded for it with things like this, like the pair of white dragon being drawn here. Now, one is cut already, so it'll be a little bit harder to find the other one. But at the same time, it'll also be more likely to be discarded if someone does draw it. So that gives Tramy quite a few options here to push forward with that Honitsu hand.
That has been fixed. And
all right.
Wow, okay. That way when you get to see a hand 4 dials in, and suddenly it looks almost ready and valuable too.
Yeah, absolutely. It was 2 Shanten for Chitoy, I believe, or more likely going to be a standard hand.
Right, yes.
Oh, wow. And Martin, kind of in a similar situation, just keeps drawing Sozu right now. God, everyone's drawing these pairs.
Yeah, I think I was misremembering on my part. I was remembering the seed order from the last game, perhaps. That's on me. Okay. Also, yes.
Yeah, so Conor here, I think probably just has to discard the 9 pin. Gives you the options for the Tanyao. And looks like, okay, 8 pin first is completely fine as well. Keeps a little bit safer tile back here. God, pairs everywhere, though. So you see a red dragon drawn here. There's at least 1 in discards. But Zhiyu going to go ahead and pawn the Tuso here. Giving Tramy the chance to draw into another honor.
Yeah, I'm about to say, after pairing up the door there, absolutely we're going to be going for an all-inside hand.
Absolutely. Obviously, the ideal is to get another one going here, get the Anko of him. But Martin drawing as well an important tile here. Could actually end up on the San Anko as well. Conor actually going to go ahead and draw a triplet of his own.
Yeah, San Anko, but also potentially the Pure sequence. We just saw it in the last hand. Could see it again. I think that's Tenpai as well for Zhiyu. Waiting on the 6. Not the greatest weight, but Tenpai is Tenpai. And it's still
absolutely.
Upgrade it.
Yeah, and Tramy looks like it's still 2 Shanten right now, but did find a pretty good improvement with that 3 mon. Chad is calling for the Suanko here, so we'll see if we are able to make that happen or not. But I think it's going to be unlikely. Unfortunately, with that 2-3-4 pin, it's really hard to morph that over into a Suanko. Honestly, Conor might have a slightly better chance of it than Martin.
Turns out
but
no one has
none
a
of them are
chance
going to have any chance. Yep.
So all inside Dora 2.
Yep, so that'd be 1,000, 2,000. So not quite enough to catch Zhiyu up to Tramy, but we'll put a little bit of a dent in everything. All right, and we'll be moving on to Martin's deal here. Martin rolling a 9 here. And the 5 mon will be the Dora. Okay, so decent starting head for Martin by the look of it. A few pretty interconnected shapes, but a few isolated ones as well. No Dora, but or no, does have one Dora with the Ryanman attached to it, so that's a pretty good spot to be. Conor, though, looking at a pretty likely Honitsu hand, I think. It's not super close to it, but the tiles that aren't bamboo are not really worth much, honestly. They're kind of far away. So here I think it's best to start with the one pin discard, but slightly different route. Conor is going to opt a little bit more for efficiency and chooses to discard an honor first instead. That's a fourth pair from Martin already. And we see another honor picked up for Conor. Yeah, hands progressing pretty normally. Tramy drawing the Dora here for the Ryankan shape with the Dora attached. Did have some options, trying to consider if she could keep the dragon around for safety or what she wanted to do, but in the end chooses to discard it. See, I really don't like that discard for Martin. I think discarding the wind pair is going to be your highest likelihood to kind of make a good hand here. But at the same time, it's not the end of the world to be discarding the 7.
I almost would just send that one pin back if I were Tramy, just because we want to be guaranteeing the five characters there. I think keeping the 5/7, I don't know, we lose a little bit from that. I guess what we gain is potentially Itsu in the pin tiles, but I don't know.
Yeah, Martin here. We can see Martin here discarding the pair of Westwind, and that's what I was talking about a bit there. So this hand would be a lot better if both Westwinds were cut and the 7 so were still in hand. But unfortunately, by discarding the 7 so, keeping that isolated pair, it sets up for a little bit of worse shape overall if you draw the right improvements, or I guess in this case, the wrong improvements.
That's fair. We'll see. Talking about Tramy, we ended up getting the 4 draw. We had to give it back because we cut that 3 earlier. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right, so Conor making some decisions here. Chooses to cut the penchant, which I always like. I hate penchants with a burning passion. My apologies if you're a penchant in chat right now.
I think that's very reasonable, honestly. And yeah, we are eventually going to cut that 1 pin, keeping the 2 for 6, just going for a normal hand.
Yep, so chat confirming that Tramy can get bad draws. She is just like the rest of us at the end of the day. Actually redrawing that Ryankan again. Wow.
Get that out of here.
Yeah, now Martin, faced with a decision here, chooses to cut the Formon. Now the option there is to keep it and try to discard one of the pairs to improve the overall shapes, but instead is going to go for the shortest distance to Tenpai as dealer, where just one draw could put them in Tenpai no matter what here. Not
interestingly,
being
had we
rewarded,
kept
but
the
not
4, there would be another path available, but I don't think we want to keep this.
Yeah,
we cut the
like
7
I think
straight away. Okay, no, okay.
No, I think you still do want to hold on to that. The problem is sequential pairs are not great. Just because if you cut one tile off one of them, you still accept the 6/9 in that situation. So the shortest route to Tenpai would be holding on to one of them but not the other. Yes. But this is the higher upside with the potential e-Peiko as well.
That's true. There's definitely a lot of value available, and that is going to be what we want to be seeing here in the very final match.
Tramy forcing the Honitsu, or yeah, Tanya here.
Makes sense. Like, Tramy doesn't need a huge win, right? All they have to do is make sure they get out of this game without something terrible happening.
Exactly, yeah. And Conor actually seeing a potential Sanshoku here. Still a little ways off here, but it is a possibility. And Tramy finally drawing the 6-mon that she was looking for. This is Tenpai. The question is if you Riichi and if you want to wait on which weight here, and choosing to Riichi, discarding the 2-pin, waiting on 3 so 4-pin, and we see a 4-pin picked up immediately from Martin. Very unfortunate after that 5-pin discard.
The Ipatsu curse. Oh, what a horrible thing. When the tile you draw immediately after someone reaches, I swear it has a higher chance of dealing in. I don't know why. Am I crazy?
Probably, but that's for different reasons than just this.
Or is it always just like the tile that you draw immediately after Reach is the least safe looking tile in the history of... Maybe that's just me being paranoid, but...
Most likely negativity bias. Humans are wired for it, and this is
True.
just it in action right now.
But it's something that I do... Maybe it's just because you sort of wake up at that point. But yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Either way, though.
So Conor drawing another tile that pushes for that Chinitsu now.
I just don't see pushing the 3 and the 5 to an open reach.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be very hard. But I think angling for it is fine as long as you can do so safely.
Yes.
The question is, do we actually draw what we need? And we don't really cut a ton of dangerous tiles if we're still 3 Shantan for it.
Yeah, exactly. But the 4 does eventually come out. Tramy is going to take this win. I think it is just all inside reach, Dora 1.
That's correct.
That's
so it'll be a 5,200 point hand at the end of the day.
Who does into that quickly?
Yeah, so Tramy just continuing to build the lead here. Not quite going to take a clean sweep. Did have to take a second in the last match, but in a strong first already in this one.
So who does that quickly? May I ask?
I believe that was Martin.
Okay.
Could be wrong there. Yes, it was Martin. All right, so Conor looking at the starting hand here, seeing a few Manzu, not quite enough to force a Honitsu or anything. Dora for this round is going to be the 5 Sol. So we'll see if we see many that are usable. We see a 5 So in Conor's hand, but not much that's connected to it unless it's being hidden by the left hand there. Zhiyu, a few honor tiles that we'll need to get rid of. Overall decent shapes, but nothing to write home about as far as hand value goes. Tramy, unfortunately looking at a very fast hand, unfortunately for the rest of the table, that is. Outside chance of a Sanshoku, so could hold on to that 1 So for now. Probably discard a couple of the honors and guest wins and everything.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to end up being Sanshoku, but it's one of these things that, like, you always have to think about it, right? You have to... you cannot make this up. Yeah, I know, right? It's sometimes Marshall just happens, You can't control it. It just happens.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll see what Tramy draws here. Does complete the 1, 2, 3 in Manzu already. So yeah, I love holding on to this one. So just keeping that outside chance, keeping it alive, because if you do draw it, then you can suddenly call this hand and push the game along even faster.
Exactly. The other thing is the 8-9 pin shape is really not that bad. Really not that good. So if you are going to get rid of a shape, it's a perfectly fine choice to remove. I guess the other choice would be, if you were feeling really, really spicy, cutting the 4-5 of bamboo and going for the outside hand. But with that upgrade, we just get rid of the 1 So. Perfectly fine.
I don't even know if I call it an upgrade, though. The thing is, like, a lot of times the 4-5-5-6 shape, the bulging shape there, is a pretty good shape to keep. The problem is when it's on the edge like that, it's really, really hard to make it that useful. Because the big benefit for that shape usually is that drawing either side of any tile there makes a good weight. The problem is with it being a terminal tile on the edge, you lose that good shape on one side. So it can end up in a lot worse situations than it otherwise would if you draw like a 6 So or a 9 So. 9 So still allows the Apego, but 6 So is the absolute worst there.
Yeah, I think honestly that's very, very fair. The next draw did eventually we got rid of both of them, but maybe not necessarily in the ideal order. Also, yeah, welcome to the stream. I think we've had first, second so far from Tramy, so it's been an experience so far. And I believe in the very first game Tramy chomboed, so she gave everyone a little lead and then caught up.
Yep, second game there, but yeah, it was,
okay.
She tried to give other people a sporting chance and they just didn't take it from her perspective. So here's a good draw, though. Yep, so drawing that 2-pin, we can discard the Dora here and be fine with it, and probably just Dama. Like, there's no reason to Riichi this hand, really. We'll see what she ends up doing. It looks, I think that's her position when she's about to Riichi. Yeah, so she was going to Riichi there. It's always funny, when you play with players enough or watch them play or anything, players have certain ways of picking up tiles when they're about to Riichi. It's different for everybody, but there's usually some kind of indicator of what's coming. So always look for those just to kind of see if someone's deciding if they want to reach or not, or if they're close. You can actually pick up on that sort of thing to see what their hand shape looks like.
Especially, have we seen Tramy Dama at any point?
I don't think so. She's very much push Riichi all the time thing. There's lots of players that are like that, and honestly, it's much harder to make a mistake by reaching when you shouldn't than the other way around.
That's true.
It's easier to make a mistake by doming in the wrong place. But Conor here with an effective draw.
The flip side is obviously just that if you only ever reach, then that means that if you've not opened your hand and you've not reached, you're not senpai, and everyone else can kind of tell that. But it doesn't matter if you just sumo.
Just sumo, yeah. All right, so Riichi's sumo pinfu, and we find nothing else. So this will be 700, 1300. Neat little win, you know. Just continue to push the lead and just show why she wants to be the dominant Irish champion here. Moving into South 1 of the final match, it's looking very, very likely that she's going to be, so we'll see what other players can do to stop it here. All right, and now we do have about an hour left in the round here. If you're just joining in, if you're not used to this style of play, basically the players have 90 minutes to complete the round, and then after time is called, you finish the hand and play one additional hand. So we're not on track for that to happen at all right now, but if a player goes on a run to try to catch up to Tramy, we will be seeing that. Chat is calling out a South 3 double Yakuman hand. Are double Yakuman even scored in EMA? I don't play it enough to know for sure.
I think Yakuman stack, but they're not cumulatives. So I think if you can get two different Yakuman hands, you can't get a double Yakuman. I think.
Got it. Okay.
I should check that.
And
I'm pretty sure that's how it works in my league. So
yeah,
that's how I tell EMA rules, because I set it up once and then I'm like, how does it work?
I think it's the same for WRC now as well. That was a recent change, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's kind of what people are adopting, and oddly enough, it's what Tenho originally had way back in the day. So they were apparently ahead of the times, and everyone's starting to conform to that now.
Okay, let me move into South 1. The Dora is the 1 pin, thank you. And
Tramy with another very strong, very fast starting hand here. Other players are in okay spots, but nothing is as fast as what Tramy's hand seems to be right now.
Obviously, Zhiyu with 2 Dora is definitely be thinking, do they want to be in this hand? I even want to almost consider going for the outside hand. I would be hoping, secretly, for the option of calling the 1 pin. I don't know. But we'll see.
But in that kind of position...
Yeah,
like the option of calling the 1 pin is rough, right?
Yeah.
Like if you do that, you're just limiting the hand so much. And it's actually still going to be lower value typically than a Riichi will be with this hand.
I mean, I absolutely agree. And the only way I would make it work is if I could get the outside hand sort of confirmed. But yeah, you have, as I say, you have to get 2 or 3 perfect draws to even have the option of calling. But yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Zaps, for confirming that. Yeah, exactly. You can win 2 different Yakuman hands at the same time, but you can't. Like, single weight Suanko is only worth one Yakuman, it's not double. Always worth keeping in mind. But yeah.
Yeah, so Martin has a chance for a Sananko here. So in 1 more draw, we'll be able to hit that Yaku. Not the Yakuman yet, but we can't quite roll it out. It'll depend on how Martin plays it, if he is able to even hit that Tenpai. Tramy drawing yet another effective tile. Oddly enough here, I think the 6-so is one of the best discards.
I agree.
Just so if you do end up with another shape or something like that, you have the option of discarding the 8 to make the pair. But she opts to keep that since it is a good weight at the end for the pair anyway. All right, so no one's hand is really standing out as anything super valuable or anything except for this double Dora hand for Zhiyu here, like you mentioned. I think here we have to give up on the Sun Shogu, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's slowly approaching Tenpai, but it's not... I don't know. when I've got a pair, or when I've got a Champon weight, and one of the pairs is the Dora, you really hope you draw Dora 3, but you don't expect it to happen. It's a tough thing.
Yep, absolutely. Martin still just drawing right now. I think he probably will take the Riichi for the Sanonko if he gets it. That's just a hand that's a little bit too difficult to try to morph into the Suonko.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, with Tramy's hand, best draw is easily going to be the 7-pin, but we can see a few of them on the table already. So not super likely, but we've seen some unlikely things from her before.
It's very true. This is a really nice fill for Conor. But still, I believe, 2 away from a ready hand. That is an upgrade there for Zhiyu.
That's a good draw, yeah.
I'm going to put Zhiyu 1 away from being able to reach. That's a 4 on a 5. I got excited for a second there. Not quite.
No. Not the best draw, unfortunately, but this is a 5, so Tramy improving the shape once again. So this is a very, very wide Ishan 10. You can draw the 8 or 9 pin to pair up there or on the Ryonmin. And then at the same time, you have a chance to complete one of those runs and make the 8 into their pair like I was talking about before.
Exactly, yeah. The best possible draw, I think, is the 7-pin, but the 7-pin, we do see 2 of them right here. Not that likely, but that, as you say, so many different ways to get to Tenpai. Another 4. And this
that's
will be
one of them right there.
Yeah, so now, we do have a C-strap on the 8 of darts, but I don't know if I want to reach on the Tunky. This is Tramy, though, so we are going to see a reach.
Yep. Yep, just slam it and see what happens. It's been working for her so far.
Honestly, yeah.
The thing I really don't like about it, though, is the 9-pin coming out for the Riichi tile.
Yes.
So when that happens, especially when you've seen like a 5 discard already, the only reason to hold on to a 9-pin is, one, if it's safe against every other player, which it could be in this case, but not as many players as you would like, or it could be because you have other tiles near it. So because of that, it looks like Zhiyu is going to be pushing this Riichi and trying to go after and target Tramy as best he can.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a good one. We do have the Dora weight, as I say. You don't expect one on it, but if you do, you get Dora 3. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I do think there's still 1 Dora left in the wall, unless I'm mistaken here.
I believe so. I'll have to have another look around. It is going to drive Martin off of this, which is perfectly understandable.
The real question is what Conor does here. This is a pretty effective tile in hand here. Completes another run, but does have 2 pairs and is looking to discard one of them right now with this 1 mon. Pretty decent overall. Not necessarily the safest tile, but is able to give some options for next turn if needed.
Yeah, Martin's folding here. I don't see Martin ever dealing in on the 8-pin there. There's one of the ones we were looking for.
There it is.
But Conor's not going to play it. In fact, Conor might actually be able to use it in attack. This is Tenpai for Conor, waiting on the 5 of Bamboo, which just came out. So it's safe to the other 2 Tenpais on this table.
Yeah, and it looks super dangerous to them, though. That's the hard part. Now, we can see that Zhiyu is folding. So if Conor can tell that Zhiyu is folding, that's 1 less hand to worry about, 1. But we also know that they're not as likely to deal into it. So it'll really have to be one of the other 2 players drawing a 5-so and discarding it now. But we can see there's only 1 left in the wall at this point.
I believe it's a similar situation for the 8 of darts. I think it might even be a similar situation for the 1-4 at this point. Sorry, for the 1... I can't remember what the other pair was now.
There's A4.
That's not D4, though. Yeah, exactly.
No. Yeah.
It was 1-6.
Oh, and unfortunately, the 6, that's going to be what Zhiyu wanted.
We've got Dora 2!
Jeez. Okay, luckily just among... Or no, that is a Hanemon then. So that's a dealer Hanemon, 18,000 points right here. Absolutely huge with that Ura.
Oh my. Well, Zhiyu now is going to be shooting ahead into... Actually, yeah.
Yep, that's
Pretty
first.
sure that's enough for first. Yeah, because it was a swimmer, right?
No,
it was a deal.
No,
it
it's
was
roll.
From...
Roll on Conor.
On Conor.
If I understand it correctly, yeah. So yes, that's 18,000 there. 2 Riichi 6 for a total of 20,000 points up for Zhiyu, which puts him at 48.4. Pretty big chunk of points right there they needed. So really, really going to be loving that. This is probably going to put him in a solid second place in the overall standings right now. We'll see if they can keep it going to try to start nipping at Tramy's heels or not. All right, Dora for this round will be the North Wind. So we see quite a few dragons in Zhiyu's hand here. Question is what they want to do with them. I like starting with the 9-mon discard, I think, but is going to opt for the extra honor. I don't mind that either, just because you do want to try to keep some efficiency and make sure that you can draw the tiles you need. You're not just kind of stuck with a bunch of honors in your hand at the end of the game. It's kind of a give and take sort of thing, because obviously getting the extra honor is the highest upside there, especially with the very small outside chance of Daisongen. But instead going to opt for a little bit more efficiency, try to play towards the Dora instead, but does follow up with the 9-mon discard right away.
Well, so yeah, to answer your question earlier, I believe we have 200 points separating second place and third place currently. Zhiyu is still 200 points behind, effectively.
Yeah, still just right there. Luckily, that put Martin out of last place overall. So Martin was able to move up in the UMA there and is going to, try to sit at least in third here and maybe overtake again. In second here and try to overtake eventually.
But yeah, I do love how this is a really tight-knit battle for second here. Because even Conor can get back quite easily, right? With the scores as close as they are, so...
Absolutely, but if I'm in Zhiyu's position here, I'm going first still, right? Like, once this deal passes, we can talk. But right now, tried to go full steam ahead, especially with an Onko of the green dragons here. So we have an Onko of dragons and a single Dora. Here, we almost want to see one or maybe even two of the Dora cut and try to get that trapped Tonky weight on the pay at the end of the day. So we'll see if that's the route that Zhiyu ends up going. It is one of the easiest ways to build value with this hand, though.
Yeah, I think that's very, very fair. Ooh, that's Tenpai for Tramy.
It is a Tenpai. It's actually not a Sanshoku, unfortunately. Close, but not quite there. So there is the option of discarding like the 9, but given history, given situations, we might actually see just the Riichi here.
Yeah, I kind of expect Tramy to reach, but we'll see.
Yeah, has shown herself to be a very aggressive player, and it's worked out for her so far. Sitting at a total tournament score of 107,000 so far.
Yeah, I do like the 9 discard, because you manage to, maybe if you're lucky, confirm the Sandshock if you can get the 5, 6, 7 instead of the 7, 8, 9. Have the 8 be your pair. I like that. There are things you can definitely do. Yeah, the 3-man I think was maybe even hunting for that Sandshock, right? It must have been.
I actually think I like the 5 discard over the 9 if that's the route you're going to go. Because this still forces the Sanshoku, but leaves the Itsu chance open as well.
I suppose, yes, that's a really good point. I take that back. Yeah.
And she does find it too. Wow. Good play there. No, I actually like that a lot. I think it gives you the defensive edge that you want. You don't really want to be slamming a bad weight Riichi right here. So going, maybe this is a new Tramy that we're seeing here. Maybe she's going to step back a little bit and let other people play the game. We'll see.
Well, you never know what the next draw could lead to. But yes.
Absolutely.
Ooh, a nice little side grade there for Zhiyu.
Finds an 8 That doesn't quite do much, unfortunately. I think it's still just throwing back that... Well, you don't have to. You could actually throw back the 5-7 here. 5-7 Manzu, that is.
Yeah.
I think that's your widest Ishan 10, if you're going to maintain the Ishan 10 instead. We'll see what she decides to do here. This is a tough decision, I think.
Tramy's still being tempted by that reach.
I think we're going to see it. Just look at her hand position, a little bit angled right here. She wants to declare this Riichi here.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep, 100%. Tell you that
she
read works every single time.
Hey.
All right, so question in chat here. Do we know what the etiquette is expected of the non-East players? So playing for position is fine here. This is not necessarily winner takes all, but we will, publicly shame people if they take a win that keeps them in fourth at the end here. So I think overall it's encouraged to play for as high of a placement as you reasonably can. But for some of these players, reasonably can is only going to be second at this point.
Yeah, I believe exactly. Yes, I expect strongly worded letters if things go that way, but I don't think that's going to happen. Not today.
No, most likely not.
And realistically, I think the best goal here is probably second. Obviously, while you've still got a dealership in the South Round, still go for first if you can.
Yep, 100%. I don't think we expect to see Zhiyu folding here or anything like that.
But maybe once your dealership goes, if this does indeed happen, maybe fighting for second place. I think it's perfectly fine.
All right, so Conor drawing a Dora that was just got discarded. Choosing to finish the cut of the dragons here first.
I actually kind of like that.
And Zhiyu
because we've
drawing Tenpai. Oh, I think you have to take this Tenpai here, right? I think we discard the 6.
Absolutely.
Oh, Dama.
Yeah, I mean, deals it, unfortunately, but...
Yeah, obviously, but I'm a little bit surprised that the Riichi didn't come out there, though. But either way, it'll be a Riichi Nomi hand, so just 1,300 plus the Honba for a total of 16. They're just figuring out the change right now.
Alright, let's get that on the board.
Right.
It's unfortunate for Zhiyu, because that's their last dealership gone, and they were in a good position to maybe start creating a streak that might make things go their way, but...
Yep, absolutely. You never know. It could be like Yakuman Sumo right here. It might be just a tactical pass of the deal to get Tramy in the Oikaburi.
Ah, I see. I like that. I like that thought. That is a really good way to avoid tilt, you know? Just exactly. Find a way to rationalize it. It works. Yeah.
Everything in Mahjong happens for a reason. It's just usually not a good one. All right, so Tramy here opening up a less than stellar hand for once. We'll see what she can make of it. She does have a lot of incomplete shapes, so I expect to see a lot of honor discards early, yeah. So keep the bad shapes around for now. They do have upgrade chances still, and we'll see where the shape is at the end of the honor discards.
All right.
This is a Hatsudora, so we see Conor thinking on that one for just a moment before choosing to hold on to it. Zhiyu's hand, nothing to write home about really. There's a little bit going on there, but nothing too big just yet.
Yeah, Tramy also holding a Dora right now. She doesn't really need to worry about the Dora that much. Obviously, getting another first would be amazing, but...
Yeah, was that 3 or 4 players with the Dora in hand?
I think it's 3. The only person who doesn't have it, I believe, is Zhiyu. I have to check that again. Now, for Conor with that draw, could be thinking about the mixture sequence. I like it, keeping the 789 available. And
yeah, you're right, Zhiyu not having a Dora just yet. So the only one unconstrained by worrying about the Dora there.
Speaking of mixture sequence, Tramy could be going for 1, 2, 3 as well. I like keeping the 1-man a little bit longer. I'd probably have cut the 8-pin first. I would have kept the Dora just a little bit longer. But it's really between those two.
I actually like the Dora discard here. So reason I like the Dora discard is I kind of talked about it a little bit before, but right now it's not going to deal in, so you don't have to worry about that necessarily. If someone pawns it, you know who you need to worry about. You can just make the defensive decisions and everything from there, but more than likely everyone's going to be making defensive decisions. So at that point, you're fine with the sumo. Like if they sumo a Mangan, whatever, you're still ahead, up 108,000 in the tournament. So it's 130 for anyone to come back. You're fine with a Mangan sumo here.
I mean, that's very fair, yeah. When I say I was going to wait, I literally would have been for maybe 1 turn. Because I don't know. I like winning with Dora too. But yes, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, but why Ura 2 when you could get Ura Sun?
Oh, well, that's the tricky part.
Yeah,
Uradora happens to other people. It doesn't happen to me. Uradora is something that happens to everyone else. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's tilt. I'm sorry.
Actually, Ura-san.
Yeah, true.
All right, but anyway, so Martin continuing on with his hand right now. Conor actually very close to a Chanta hand.
Yeah, Chanta
just
and
noticing
Sanshoku.
that, so it could be Chanta, Sanshoku, Riichi, Pinfu potentially in the ideal case. But that's a little bit idealized. I don't think the Pinfu's super likely.
Honestly, if you get everything else except for the Pinfu, I would not be the one complaining in that situation. I think Conor's hand is potentially enough to get them back into second place overall in this event.
Yes, hitting the right person would do that. With it being a Hanemon, but I think you might need the Pinfu for the Hanemon or an Ura, but either way.
Yeah. That's unfortunately not what we want to be seeing. The other thing is, of course, our discards look very chanty as well, which is the sad thing. It's a hard thing to mask, but we've cut a lot of middle tiles. We could be maybe trying to convince people it's a flush instead of something else.
But speaking of flushes, that's what Martin's angling for right here. There's some isolated honors, but that just means that this could be Chinitsu instead. So really it's not necessarily a downside. Considers the 9-pin discard. We can see the Sanshoku, so actually chooses to discard the Dora instead here. And I do like that. I think that's one cut so far. I think one person got rid of theirs. Yes.
Yep.
So in holding on to it's not super valuable. But naturally that's the moment you draw 2 more. So we'll see if that happens or not. Oh, Martin, great draws continuing.
Martin going for the full flush.
Yeah, at this point you probably start calling for it if you can. I would need to see the hand again to know exactly what the good calls are here, though.
Yeah, that's very fair. A Mongun is still more than good enough.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
We might not need to call at this rate. So that is...
even getting the Pure sequence there with the 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I think with that hand, Chi-Toy is most likely, because you have 5 pairs in a row is the problem.
That's, yeah, that's true.
But that's actually a specific shape by itself. It could be a 4-sided Shanpon.
Hear me out, though. Rian Peiko. Unlikely. Probably not going to happen, but hear me out.
Yeah.
What if we dreamed?
Hey, it's always a possibility. Rian Peiko, Chanta, what else we need? Or, no, not Chanta, Junchan. Why not? Let's do it.
Conor is now 1 away, though, from this outside hand. I think we've given up on the Sanshoku cutting the 9, but... 1 away
but I think for
the
1 away it makes sense, too.
A closed Chanta.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, another Sozu. So we are in Tenpai. Or are we?
No.
No, my apologies. Not quite in Tenpai.
Not quite, but 1 away, I believe. The very, very
but this
wide
could actually be
it
could be a Tanyao Pinfu Chinitsu. Like, that's a possibility with this hand right now. The Pinfu's not super likely, but the Tanyao is. So we'll have to see exactly where that ends up. But Zhiyu does hit Tenpai here. So could discard the 6-pin, waiting on 4, 7, 8. Or could go for the Ipeko, discarding the 4-pin, waiting on 5. I think those are the only real options here.
Yeah, I don't think.
I guess there's also the 8-pin. 8-pin
yes.
Waiting on 7-pin is also another choice.
Yeah.
Chooses the 4-pin to Dama the Ipeko. And that is a 5-pin, and the Vron is going to be called. So shutting down any other chances that we were looking at. This will not quite be enough to put Zhiyu into 2nd place overall. But it is a little bit of a chip going forward, and we'll see how that ends up adding up in the overall. So small little win here, just 1,300 points for an Ipeko Nomi, but that will pass the dealership on to Martin. So we are 2 dealerships from the end of the Irish Riichi Championship here. So last match of the with only 2 dealerships left. So really at this point, Zhiyu is probably out of it, right? It's almost impossible. You need like a direct hit double Yakuman on Tramy to be able to really have a chance at overtaking. And obviously that's asking a lot. So I think we're going to expect Zhiyu to start playing a lot more for 2nd instead. But Martin and Conor do still have that chance here. So we'll see how they end up playing it and if that affects their decision making at all. Still 42 minutes left in the round, so plenty of time to go on a hell of a dealer run, to say the least.
Yeah, this game is
but can always start out with big hands too. Just 1 Dora in hand for Martin here, 2 for Conor. So this is actually looking like a Honitsu force to me.
Yeah, absolutely. When you've only got 2 non-suited tiles, okay, 3 non-suited tiles.
So I take it back. It looks like a Suanko force to me. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. I'm down.
I mean, honestly, Toy Mangan could still be fine here. Hitting Martin with that would take him a long way towards taking 2nd in the tournament. So we'll see what he ends up drawing and what he ends up deciding to do.
By the way, they might have these already 1 away. The shapes aren't good, but it's still 1 away. This is... Ooh, well. Now,
so
do you believe in the Suanko?
Geez, this is such a hard decision. I think
we're
you have to
going
go
for it, Conor!
Yeah. Yeah, slightly better we discarding the Forso first, but I think if you're forcing this hand, it doesn't really matter either way.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Now,
Yeah,
this
you
could
are
still
right.
just be Toy Toy, but
True.
we'll see what decisions they make if they have to make that decision.
I think if
We
it's
are
Toy Toy Dora
Ishanten,
3,
though.
I'm happy just I'm happy to just go for it. But
Yeah. Now, one of the, I won't say downsides, um, so one of the tiles is the Dora. So if you discard the Forso, Suji trapping that Dora, it's still not likely to come out. So, but at the same time, do we really want to run? Right? So at that point, it might be almost better that you don't roll on someone first. But I think with it coming out here, we have to pawn it.
we have to pawn.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's what we do see.
it's still Toy Toy Dora 3. It's perfectly fine. And also, if you can make a hand look like a flush, I could see the 8 pin coming out quite easily too. So one
Yeah,
is locked
absolutely.
here in
Monk on
Trammy's
either
hand.
way.
But
And that's actually going to be directed on Tramy.
oh,
So that's great to see for Conor. That's exactly what he wanted to see. If he's going to have any chance of coming back here into first, that's what he needs. So actually, that's going to be the Hanemon now for a Toy Toy Dora 3 White Dragon. So Takame there knocking Tramy down 12,000 points. So big, big boon for Conor here. Now he's just like one win away from hitting second, but he does still need that win in order to be able to catch up a little bit. That is second in the overall standings.
and we have lost the broadcast.
Yep, just slight technical difficulty here for just a moment. I'm sure we'll get that worked out on the back end. So hang tight. We will be coming back in just a minute here.
I guess we are now approaching South 4, so everyone's going to be doing their maths, calculating their score.
Yep, absolutely. And here we go. Looks like we are back. Yep, so the scores are updated. So overall, we are at a 5,000 total point difference, 4,900 even, between second and fourth. So one hand will easily like decide all of it at this point. So at least for second to fourth, that is. So if Martin or Zhiyu can get any hand at all, really, it doesn't take much. In fact, it takes 1,000 points for either of them to take second.
Yes.
But Conor has a little bit of work to do still.
Yeah, this is my scoring, so hopefully we'll get an accurate results once they've all counted it up. But hopefully I did a good job this game.
Yeah, now it will be really interesting if we can see Conor go on some kind of run here. So yes, just doing a quick point check here for the players just to make sure they understand exactly where they're at. And I'm sure there'll be a little bit of math in the back end too to figure out their overall standing. So taking a look at it now for sure, and we'll be back with the game very shortly after they are able to confirm all of their winning conditions.
Thank you, Simon. Our scores are accurate this game. Well, hey, we had the mistake in game 1, but we got there. We got there for game 4.
Hey, game 3, I guess, right?
Game 3. Game 1 of us. Yeah, true.
Yeah, see, we did so good for so many games that you and I were working so hard on.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't the other two. But shouts to everyone who's been taking part in this event, both the players, the organisers, and obviously the other commentators. This is a very good point. We have 40 minutes. We're in South 4. We could be in South 4 forever. You never know.
I can tell you that South 4 is going to be the last round of the game one way or another.
Yep, the door for this first South 4 repeat, you never know, is going to be the 6 of bamboo.
Yeah, and we see none of them in hand for Conor here. Is able to accept them, has an Onko of the 9 pin, so not much going on here, but going to try to go for a quick hand.
Yeah,
that said, we just talked about how Zhiyu and Martin can both go for 1,000-point hands, and Zhiyu is starting with the pair of the White Dragon already. So we're going to be looking for that and seeing if anything can happen with it.
I wonder what Tramy's going to be doing, because obviously Tramy could probably not do anything at this point and keep their first place, but maybe we just see a nice quick reach. Maybe this game gets shut down.
So this is actually a great hand for Tramy here. Like, and you know, we've seen a lot of him, obviously, but in this situation right now specifically, having the set of Onko of the East, that is so helpful because you can push, you know, pretty much carelessly. But then if any sort of danger strikes, you always have that set of East Wind to fall back on, and they look very, very safe at that point. So really exactly what she wanted to see going into this last round. If she has the chance to push something, maybe she takes it. But if not, always has that safety there.
Yeah, exactly. Having said that, this is Tramy we're talking about, and I think I don't think she's not the most fold person. She seems to be able to push in to most of the other players' attacks and still find a way to get the tiles that she needs to win. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, in this position, it's done her very, very well.
It really has.
So I don't know, like, the whole meta and everything necessarily over in Ireland. But if this sort of aggressive play rewards her this much every time, then absolutely stick with it.
And she's going to go for the flush this time around, cutting the 4-5 pin shape, but that lets her open up. And as you say...
Open up, and more importantly, doesn't have to Riichi.
Yeah, and as you say, if things go really, really wrong, you can always play east, east, east. So...
Exactly.
I think you've hit the nail on the head this time around. And we keep drawing Manzi tiles. Not connected, but Manzi tiles nonetheless.
Hey, if it's not connected, it's just a pair weight at the end, right? That's all.
Exactly.
Okay, so Zhiyu not drawing the most effective tiles here. Looks like it's going to be a Chitoi force at this point. Jesus Lord, Tramy. Give other people some tiles for a change.
I'm sorry, that's not how this game works. Not today.
All right, so at least the other players will be used to it by now. You know, they've been dealing with this for quite a while. That's Zhiyu on one away from Tenpai for a Chitoi. Martin moving along here, but not quite that close.
Yeah, the fun thing about Chitoi, especially in this particular hand right here, is we can Dharma. We don't need a huge win to get second place for Zhiyu, so...
Yep, absolutely, and that's the
that's
Tenpai. This would be Tenpai. This would be what, a Jigoku Tonki on the south wind if you want to, and that's what he takes too. Wow, that's going to be a super.
I could see Tramy dealing in here. I could see
like
Zhiyu second.
That's almost certainly it, unless like there's not even one left to pair up, is there? Or no, there's only one in discards.
There is one, yeah. But Tramy's just all in, right? She's got nothing to lose by dealing in, so she might as well just play the south if she gets the Tenpai.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that this game's probably decided, honestly. Like, we have to see someone else hit Tenpai right now in order to have a different outcome, because otherwise Tramy's just going to keep drawing, keep getting the tile she needs, and eventually discard that south. The only other option is if she draws the pair of south here.
Conor is now one away, but I think it's not. No, it's not quite. Not yet. There's a chance that Tramy ends up waiting on the south as well for a double Ron situation.
Yep, absolutely.
But,
this is Ishan 10 for Martin, though.
Martin one away, Conor one away, Zhiyu Tenpai, Tramy one away.
It's all on a knife's edge right now. Who's going to hit Tenpai first? Conor's also one away. Just, yeah. This is an option to change the weight here. I don't think you take this one. No. Yeah. There's a little bit of hesitation there because of what we see in Tramy's discards, like that flush and everything going on here. But at the same time, if you deal in, it's not the end of the world. Like between third and fourth is not a huge difference, and it's not super likely at this point either because we haven't seen any overflow tiles from Tramy, really.
This is a rough situation for Martin, just because we have the Dora 2. I think Martin doesn't necessarily need the Dora, but it's going to keep it just because we don't want to give it to someone else this late into the hand, unfortunately.
Yeah, a little bit of a rough position to be in, but we'll see if it ends up working out or not. Tramy, on her next improvement, she'll be having her first overflow discard, probably the 9-mon here.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see. So actually, the best situation for Zhiyu would be if something happens that she needs to discard that south. But at the same time, looking at this hand right here, this weight is fantastic.
Yeah, we're going to take the 3.
The problem is it's Furry 10. So this hand, this hand waits on. This hand waits on 3, 5, 6, 8, 9. If you discard the 3-pin. Yeah. So it's a great hand. You probably still slam the Riichi here, but make sure you don't chombo. That said, if we chombo, we get more mahjong too.
Yeah, I think you just honestly, like Furry 10 is not something you should really be that afraid of, especially when your weight is as good as it is.
Yeah, 5-sided weight, you take that every time.
But yeah,
so here
there's 9. It is safe.
Yeah, so Zhiyu hard folding here. Really no question whatsoever. And we do see that south come out too, so would not have mattered. That south wind is not likely to come out. The 6 could, but not super likely. Not the help we need just yet. So it is good. We did notice that we're in Furry 10 here, so the 9 did not get rolled or anything like that. So Conor playing very tight here, not making any mistakes.
But the other thing is obviously because Conor is the dealer. Even if everyone else folds, and even if you're Fairy Town, even if you have 0 tiles left, the Riichi alone, if it makes everyone else fold, you get another go. So
Yeah, another go, a couple thousand points. That's really what you need to start catching up here. Honestly, if you are Tempai, that flips the script right there, because that would overtake Martin.
Give you an extra 10 points of
And
rank
that's
bonus.
a beautiful draw.
There's the Sumo on the Dora!
Yeah, so Riichi Sumodora 2 is absolutely fantastic. Let's see if we get an Ura bomb on top of that. No
Not
bomb.
this time.
So just 3,900 all. But that's still fantastic for Conor. That'll put him in an easy second place in the overall standings here. And we get another round going here. So didn't look like the strongest hand at the start. Everyone else seemed faster, but Conor gets there in the end with a beautiful 5-sided weight.
We didn't ever get a Tramy never reached, right? No.
No.
But still, what a huge win. For now,
Yeah, and
the game's not over.
Tramy's trying to shut it all down. But yeah, we're going to keep going here. Now, for those of you that might be new to the tournament scene, just about every tournament rule set there is, if you win in all last as dealer, you do not have the option of ending the game. So even if Conor was ahead of Zhiyu right now, which he isn't, he would not be able to end the game would keep going. That's for exactly situations like this where you're not first in the overall standings. So you keep playing and playing and playing until someone else wins a hand or you're not Tempai anymore. So we'll see how that goes. Conor, first 4 tiles look beautiful. Unfortunately got a little bit worse from there. So I was hoping for another Chinitsu chance here. But instead it looks just kind of like a middling mid-range hand that we need to Riichi.
I think the other benefit is, of course, that because you have everyone getting 2 dealerships, it's good to have the benefit. Let me rephrase that. Because there is no seat priority, as far as I know, and in EMA I believe you share the rank bonus, it's fair that everyone gets 2 full dealerships with all the benefits and the drawbacks of each. So even if we ignore the fact that you need a massive lead to catch up with this final game of a set, it's just nice to have sort of the that counteracts the penalty that you would, the bonus that you would get from that seat priority. I never really understood seat priority as a mechanic. Also, hang on, I should probably shut up because Zhiyu's going for a Orphan's Hand.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be one way to. I don't even think that would quite swing it with Tramy, because that'd be effectively minus 20,000 point swing, so 50-something thousand. That would actually not overtake Tramy if Tramy dealt into that.
True.
But we'll see what happens here.
But at the same time, I gotta respect the attempt. Good luck.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we can see the scores are updated here. So Conor is currently about 30,000 points ahead of Zhiyu here. And that's mainly because he overtook Tramy overall. So not, the best position for anyone else to be in. Conor's probably still not loving it. But Martin here is kind of in the roughest position. So he's got the set of South Winds. But with the one mon being Dora, that hand is not worth enough to really change the standings at all. That would put him in 4th place, and you're not going to win a game in this big of a run. That's just going to leave you in 4th. So he has to figure out some other kind of value, something to actually do something about his rank.
Yeah, trying to think
It's
what
very
Conor's
unfortunate because
plan
that
is
South would have
there.
been beautiful last hand.
Oh, I was going to say that most of the one of characters been played, so this Orphans was not going to manage to land, but then the one of characters gets drawn. So it's actually still on. How's South looking?
Yeah, did he have a... I thought he had the South.
He might have had a South, yeah.
If not.
To keep an eye open for that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we'll get a quick count of the Orphans here on the next draw here.
It didn't look like that.
So we're missing...
South, unfortunately.
No, we are missing South. We're missing 2 of the wins. So missing East, South.
So it is going to be a very long shot, but I would love to see it.
I mean, honestly, the Orphans always is, right?
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do, and sometimes it's the right play to throw that Hail Mary.
Well, exactly, yeah. You have a win condition, you aim for it.
100%. So Conor, speaking of win conditions, really just trying to make the fastest hand he can here, I think. So trying to play for efficiency, keeps the pair of 9s. It will have to be a Riichi hand, but at the same time, these are all Riichi hands, right? It's Riichi Mahjong. So no real difference there.
Speaking of the South, though, Zhiyu did just draw the South while you were saying that.
Oh, really? I missed that, and thank you.
That one tile away.
Okay.
So we're still missing the East, and I believe we'll have to see what the other
I
towns
thought
are.
I thought one of the pins we were missing too.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a huge
beautiful draw
for
from Conor here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
There's the east. This is
missing
temp. No, this is one away.
This is, yeah, one away from Tempai, missing 9 so, and I missed what the other tile was.
I think it was 9 mana. I'll have to check again.
9 mana was in hand.
Okay, then
It's probably one of the dragons.
one of the dragons. It's got to be. Yeah, that everything else was there.
Yep, so for those of you that might not be familiar with the EMA rules, yeah, missing white dragon. If a con happens, so like for the south wind or something, which isn't the case in this situation, you could actually rob the oncon. So important little rules nuance to know. But at the moment, that is Silk the rule in EMA.
Yeah, I think that there was discussion about. I don't know if there was discussion about that in EMA or discussion about that in WRC. But because it's such a weird exception, I think a lot of the weird exceptions are slowly getting phased out. But yeah, it is one of the weirdest exceptions, right? If it's a terminal or honor, and you see it can't, you can rob it for Kogashi even if it's closed, which is fun, but also interesting. Actually,
yeah, very strange. Martin gonna go ahead and open up here. So I don't know if they have the value to really do much with this hand, though. Unfortunately.
Yeah, Connor's in this situation, right? Because if obviously you can keep trying to go for the small wins to keep the game going, see if you can get the first. There was a chance of going for the 4-5-6 mixture sequence as well, but Connor gave up, passed on that by cutting the 6 of characters to the 3 characters.
Yeah, not the tile needed. Still needs 9 so white dragon, and there's only 1 white dragon in discard so far. We see 2 of the 9 so, and 2 more right there. So they're actually all locked up in hand right now.
Unfortunate, but at the end of the day, you had to go for it. I
yeah,
respect
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, there's no way he could possibly know this, right?
Yeah, there are no draw states in EMA. Something else to keep in mind as well. So, no 4-win draws. No, I've got so many honor tiles. I can't use this. Sometimes you just have to make do with what you've got.
Yep, absolutely. And Tramy really trying to do that, as we can see here. But for some reason, these terminals and honors aren't coming out. But does Chi the 6 so? So this will put her in Tenpai, waiting on West 9 so on a discard of 5 or 2.
Which I think is really interesting, right? Because obviously you're playing against that overflow, hoping that the Orphan's hand will end up having to discard one of them when they get to Tenpai themselves.
Absolutely.
Martin is going to take this call as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Martin's weight, obviously, as we can see, a much more live one. So honestly, this might favor Conor here. We'll have to see exactly how it comes out. But I think Zhiyu is going to have to fold here soon.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, Zhiyu has the most to lose by Martin winning here, so...
Yeah, but at the same time, so Martin just has South, right? Nothing else?
Let's have a look. I believe you're right.
Yeah, so that puts it in a weird situation too, right? So you almost can't win on something. You're hoping for the K10 at the end. But to do that, you need Conor to hit Tenpai too. So that hasn't happened yet either. But we can see this West Wind in hand right now. Martin is really thinking this through and does deal it. So Tramy will declare the win. That is a Honitsu Nomi, I believe. Sorry, Honitsu West.
Honitsu West. West does count.
Yep, so that will be not quite enough to go up here. So that'll be 3,900 points in total, plus the Honba. So 4,200 to Tramy. And that will do it. Tramy will be the 2025 Riichi Championship in Ireland champion. Let me say that name correctly. The Irish Riichi Championship champion. So congratulations to Tramy here. Very well played, absolutely dominating performance. Ends up taking 2 firsts and 2 seconds to absolutely blow the other players out of the water. So looks like it's going to be a little bit over 100,000, or a little bit shy of 100,000 positive, with no other player being positive. So fantastically played. Well done to Tramy. Absolutely huge here.
Yeah, just to confirm before I post the final scores, it was Martin who dealt in that final hand, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and so these are going to be the final scores.
Okay, yeah, so just shy of 100,000, Tramy at 95.8, and that does put Conor in second. So well done, Conor there, Zhiyu in third, and Martin in fourth. Obviously, it's an achievement to even get this far, but here you're looking at the top 4 players in the country right now. So fantastic tournament, fantastic ending to this championship here. Absolutely beautiful to see all this play. Even if Tramy was just running away with it the whole time, it's absolutely masterful to see how you navigate having good luck like that.
Honestly, yeah, when we took over from Shinky and Sparrowhawk, I believe we had a situation where Conor was in last place going into game 3. So being able to recover from that, getting into second, is notable and worth congratulating. But absolutely, our main winner today, and for the entire event, really, it's been Tramy. It's been really fun watching her basically push a lot of hands and have every single reach pay off almost.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to have a short ceremony here to finally officially present the title. Make sure that we didn't somehow tally the scores wrong and have the names wrong or something. But just going to do a quick check through that, and then we'll have the final update, final crowning of the victor for the year.
So yeah, I guess to summarize this entire event, it's been kind of fun. Did we see a Yakuman in any of the previous games? So I know we've had a few hands that approached that Yakuman tempo. We had quite a few people going for Swanko. We had that final Orphans attempt, which was unfortunately doomed.
I think unless it was early in game 1, I don't think we actually had a Yakuman. Just Tramy continuing to run away with hand after hand. That's why the first game ended at South 1 there. Or second game, I can't remember.
Yeah, that is a terrifying prospect. That's something I'm going to have to check at some point, because a game going to South 1 with a 90-minute timer and then not managing to make it past that, oh my. But
all right, so with all that, that'll be everything from Chiral and I. So we are going to hand it over to Simon, the absolute mastermind behind Riichi in Ireland. Honestly, the scene would be nowhere near where it is without him. So thank you very much, Simon, for helping to foster the community worldwide. And let's take a look at all the winners here.
Thanks, Kathy. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Very good. So first of all, thanks to everyone who watched us on stream. I could see some lively comments. It was a pleasure to see. I'm happy you enjoyed the show, and boy, what a show. I don't think there's, we've all been following through the day, and it was clear that, this would require some extra play from 3 of the players to make anything, but everyone stayed at it until the end, and you really gotta give it to them. Everybody fought until the end, and that's what we're after, because anything can happen in this game. So well done to all 3 of you. And Tramy, well done. Can you show show your wrist? So Tramy gets a wrist that she can wear next year for the coming year, replacing the wristband that Conor currently has. Sorry, Conor, it's just gonna be a memory on a shelf so far going forward. And Tramy, you're the Irish Riichi champion for 2025. Amazing, great accomplishments, especially seeing as the Dublin scene has, just started 2 years ago. So well done. And apart from that, I would also like to thank the Blackpool Community Centre for hosting us, and our 4 lovely commentators. I could keep an ear on you guys all day, and you have done a terrific job. So Brian, Joe Kubas, Kathy, and Chiral, thank you so much for taking the time and helping us make this an amazing show. And with that being said, that's it for today. So thanks again for watching, and see you next year, I guess.